Activists protest in City Hall to show their opposition to the creation of a new police academy.
A program for students in Chicago public schools gives low-income and minority students increased access to higher education.
And the Civic Orchestra takes their music from the stage to the CTA Red Line.
We'll have all that and more coming up on tonight's special edition of the Northwestern News Report.
It's your Chicago news right now.
Chicago youth made their voices heard Friday to protest the latest development in Mayor Rahm Emanuel's bid to build a new police academy on Chicago's west side. Good evening, I'm Andrew Marica.
And I'm Michelle Beck. Thanks for joining us. For this year's Chicago show, we're taking you out of the loop to explore lesser-known stories of the city. And
we're going to start tonight with our top story, and that's NNN's Nikki Griswold, who was at City Hall Friday to witness what turned out to be a tumultuous clash between young activists and members of the City Council.
That's right, Andrew. Activists have been protesting for months against the mayor's proposal to build a new police academy in an underserved neighborhood on the west side of Chicago. On Friday, the City Council convened to vote on a funding measure for the facility, and the protesters showed up in droves. This was the rallying cry of the #NoCopAcademy activists in Chicago's City Hall Friday, where hundreds of people showed up to protest against the construction of a new police academy. The City Council was convened that afternoon to vote on transferring $28 million of public funds to help cover the cost of building the new $95 million facility.
Organizers of the No Cop Academy came to me and said, "Stand with Black youth." And I said, "I'm going to do my job." Yeah.
Carlos Ramirez Rosa of the 35th Ward is one of two aldermen on the council who opposed the project. Rosa hosted a press conference with the protesters ahead of the vote and shared his testimony before the council.
The city of Chicago spends 300% more on policing than we do on family and support services, public health, pedestrian and traffic safety, and affordable housing. So what is clear is that our Chicago Police Department is not lacking in resources. It is lacking in accountability and oversight.
Protesters referenced the 2014 shooting in which a Chicago police officer killed teenager Laquan McDonald, contending that the Cop Academy would promote further violence against black men and boys by police officers.
This is not an anti-police movement. This is a movement that is saying no, not another Laquan.
Supporters of the academy stated that the facility will be an economic investment in the West Garfield Park neighborhood.
I fully support this project. Why? Because among other things, I believe that it'll help promote increased public safety for local residents. Wow. And serve as much needed economic stimulus for the community.
The motion passed with a vote of 39-2, causing an explosion of protests from members of the audience. Despite the results of the vote, many protesters remain optimistic.
I think that we're showing that young black people need to be taken seriously because we are people who experience the problems and the failures of this city's government, and if they can't fix it, we will vote them out and find people who will. The #NoCopAcademy campaign has the support and endorsement of 69 organizations, as well as Chance the Rapper. But the mayor and aldermen who support the project argue that the facility will provide an essential catalyst for improving relations between police and the community.
All right, Nikki, so this new police academy is expected to cost about $95 million. That's a very expensive investment for the city.
It absolutely is, Andrew, and that's actually a chief complaint of the protesters. They say that those resources would be better directed towards education, youth programs, and social services, especially considering that about 6 of the 50 public schools closed during Emanuel's time in office were actually in the area where the Cop Academy would be built.
All right, great reporting. Thanks, Nikki. Well, we know about Chance the Rapper, but what about Chance the Philanthropist? Social Works, an organization started by the Chicago-based rapper, hosted a fashion show Friday night. They worked with Northwestern student organization Unity to raise money for arts programs in Chicago public schools. And NNN's Charlie Rode was there.
The hashtag Support CPS initiative from SocialWorks teamed up with Unity to bring together the Chicago community and raise funds for arts enrichment programs in Chicago public schools.
We're so close to Chicago, and there's this great population of students there who need platforms like this and should be encouraged to pursue their passions, their art, their designs, everything. And SocialWorks is great at being an advocate for those people and for us as students.
Models showed off clothes designed by Chicago area elementary, middle, high school, and college students who won SocialWorks Student Design Contest. The event also featured musical performances by artists like Northwestern student Debbie Marie Brown and rap duo Free Planet. Chance the Rapper started SocialWorks as a way to empower the youth of Chicago through creative and artistic expression. Proceeds from the event specifically went toward the New Chance Arts and Literature Fund. The nonprofit raises money to provide arts materials and programs at Chicago public schools that have experienced a decrease in their 5-year graduation rates.
We make sure we try and find ways and avenues to recognize creatives, recognizing creative people and giving them platforms to succeed or build upon themselves. Really, what we're shooting for at the end of the day is not to say, hey, you can be a Chance the Rapper, but you can be anything creative that you want.
From ticket and merch sales, the event raised over $7,000, all of which will go towards SocialWorks' mission to promote creativity among Chicago youth. Charlie Road, Northwestern News Network.
SocialWorks plans to make 20 more Chicago public schools eligible for benefits from the New Chance Arts and Literature Fund. They're also planning to host events in November to help millennials get out to vote and are working on bringing computer science-oriented programs to the Chicago area.
Students in Chicago public high schools can take part in a program that helps them with the college application process. NNN's Joey Savchik got an inside look at how the initiative gives minority and low-income high school students a better shot at attending university.
Thanks, Michelle. 19% of the Northwestern class of 2021 is low income. According to their website, about 78% of Chicago public school students are economically disadvantaged. This NU-sponsored program is working to give CPS high school students better access to higher education. Early on a Saturday morning, students are arriving at Northwestern's Abbott Hall in the Streeterville neighborhood of Chicago.
So we want you to leave today with an actual plan that you're going to think about and actively go home and work on as well.
They're a group of hand-selected high school sophomores who work with Northwestern Academy for Chicago Public Schools. The program is a School of Education and Social Policy initiative that invites high-achieving but underrepresented high school students to work under the guidance of professionals as they prepare for higher education.
These students have worked really hard and they deserve to be in rigorous universities and selective universities, and they don't really get that exposure in their high schools in public education.
Anna Rodriguez is an advisor with the program and a former counselor in the Chicago public school system.
I feel it is important to be in a space where we can work with students from underprivileged backgrounds to get to colleges that they deserve to be in and that colleges need to hear their voices.
They're students who show a hunger to learn but come from low-income or minority backgrounds, would be first-generation college students, or are a combination of the three. Yetunde Okfolkan is an immigrant, and she and her sister would be first-generation college students. But she says she worried that she might not have the same access to college advising as other students until she applied to NU Academy.
Oh, my school might not be offering me this, but I have something else offering me that peace of mind. It just makes me happy whenever I'm like, oh, I'm going to Northwestern this Saturday. It's just like, thank God.
But they don't just sit in this building and talk about SAT scores and GPAs. They often take field trips into Chicago to explore the city, and during their junior year, they take field trips to universities around the country so that they can experience college campus culture for themselves.
We talk about skills that expand your knowledge on many fields. I was really impacted when I heard about this program, and it's just so everything that you want to experience.
Diana Stansu is a sophomore in high school and would be a first-generation college student. Northwestern and Brown are two of her dream schools. Rodriguez, a first-generation college graduate herself, says she hopes that this program can contribute to making college a no-brainer for young people in underrepresented communities. This year's graduates of the Northwestern Academy are attending Cornell University, Colorado College, and Northwestern University, to name a few. Incoming high school freshmen can learn more about the program at academy.northwestern.edu.
So Joey, can you tell us about some of the aspects of this program that's separated from other college counseling programs?
Well, besides being sponsored by a top 15 university, students apply to this program during their freshman year and continue working with it throughout their entire high school career. So they have a consistent group of friends and advisors with whom they can build trust. And this allows the counselors to understand if students don't have a perfect GPA because they need to, say, work a part-time job to support their family. This mutual understanding allows the students to put forward the best college applications they possibly can.
Joey Savchik, thanks so much.
Coming up, train conductors and music conductors collide. The Chicago Civic Orchestra brings classical music to a new venue next.
Though the Chicago Transit Authority usually encourages passengers to use headphones while listening to music, this past weekend the cars became a platform for music sharing. NNN's Alexa McHale took a ride on the Red Line on Saturday to enjoy some classical music.
That was the sound of the Chicago Civic Orchestra Wind Quintet, but not on a stage or an auditorium. This past Saturday, Chicago's orchestra decided to take their music to the CTA Red Line. The group began at 95th and made their way north to the Belmont stop, doing pop-up performances at 5 stops in between. At the Roosevelt station, the orchestra viola fellow Rosalind Green planned the event as part of her fellowship with the Civic Orchestra.
I just wanted to put chamber music in public spaces, and what's more public than public transit?
The group gave Chicagoans a free concert in the hopes of promoting the orchestra's June 4th show, successfully piquing the interest of passengers and audience members like DePaul freshman Jake Lukowski.
Actually, I was just checking my schedule with that pamphlet to see if I could go to the concert that they were advertising.
Not only was the Civic Orchestra able to promote their upcoming show, but they were able to make classical music accessible for the average Chicagoan.
And so when we bring it outside of the halls, outside of the walls of the concert hall, it really makes it accessible to everybody, and anybody can come listen to us and kind of get an understanding of what we do.
It's a new perspective to the environment that you're in. Groups of kids and families and stuff. So exposing them to maybe art that they wouldn't normally get exposed to, I think is really important.
After 4 hours and 5 stations, the group ended their day pleased with the turnout overall.
Just been wonderful how receptive people have been. People have been taking the flyers to come to the concert, or people have been stopping and asking questions. And we had a little bit of a crowd here at Roosevelt, which was fantastic.
From 95th to Howard, maybe one day you'll stumble upon a group looking to share the power of music with anyone who walks by. In that case, take the time to just listen. Alexa McHale, Northwestern News Report.
Green says she'll look to coordinate more events like this. She encourages people to think about taking their headphones out once in a while because you never know what you might tune into.
And the Chicago Transit Authority recently announced its plan to strengthen its Safe and Secure program. According to a press release from the City of Chicago Mayor's Office, Mayor Rahm Emanuel and CTA President Dorval R. Carter Jr. announced the addition of 1,000 new surveillance cameras and plans to upgrade more than 3,800 old cameras. These cameras will replace ones on trains, buses, and in stations. Media representatives for the CTA, Irene Faradaz, says the cameras will serve multiple functions.
It makes the customers feel safer. It is also a great way to help the police department find the bad guys. So a lot of times a crime that occurs not only on CTA, which actually the crime rate for CTA is pretty rare. We only have about 1 serious incident every 250,000 rides. So that's not a bad, we provide 1.6 million rides a year. So it's actually very low.
The estimated cost for the cameras is about $3.3 million, mostly coming from rideshare tax revenue, an idea proposed by Mayor Emanuel.
With Alexa, Amazon is in our homes now, but could it also be in Chicago? Activity in the South Loop has residents buzzing that the Windy City might become home to the tech giant's long-anticipated second headquarters. Construction crews appeared on a long vacant 62-acre plot in March. The site is located along Clark Street between Roosevelt Road and West 18th Street. Crews erected a geodesic sphere similar to those in front of Amazon's Seattle headquarters, sparking speculation that the site could become home to Amazon's second headquarters. The tech giant launched a nationwide competition last year to determine which U.S. city would be home to its new offices. Amazon named Chicago one of 20 finalists in January, but has not yet announced the winner. The developers of the land right now are maintaining that the Sphere is nothing more than an on-site operations center for a nearby construction project.
And more stories from Out of the Loop coming up. After the break, we sip and savor on one of the South Side's up-and-coming coffee shops.
Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts can be found all over Chicago, but business at one chain coffee shop is brewing. NNN's Emma Evans joins us now with more.
Thanks, Michelle. Sip and Savior is located at East 43rd Street in Forestville in Bronzeville on Chicago's South Side. This place is known for its positive atmosphere and for giving neighborhood residents a second place they can call home.
What makes it unique is it's community-based. It's the type of place when you walk in, it kind of wraps his arms around you, tells you to stay a while.
And many people do. Sip and Savor is a staple in Bronzeville and in its second Hyde Park location. The shop holds medium and dark roast coffee, along with a variety of flavors that leave people wanting more.
I love the egg and cheese croissant. I love that, and I love the Earl Grey ginger tea.
But Sip and Savor is not only known for its coffee and food. It's also known for the community fostered within its doors.
It's a great place for conversation. I've had some of the most dynamic and compelling conversations with people in this coffee shop. You don't get that when you go to a Starbucks because it's not necessarily a community.
And its uniqueness is not just exemplified by the sense of home. The coffee shop also prides itself in being representative of the community.
It's from somebody from the community, you know, somebody that looks like us. It's not like a franchise thing. So I think the money, the information, and everything is just being recycled within the community. You know, everybody's gaining something from it. Being able to see, you know, young black people or older black people just out here achieving and doing something well is something that the youngsters need in our community to see.
The art you see in the walls in there are from local artists. The photography is local photographers. When we have events out here on the patio like you see, it's usually local musicians or local comics. When you get people involved like that, they become part of that fabric.
And the hope is for this fabric to grow outside of the South Side as well.
Sip and Savor to me is going to be a Chicago staple like Harold's Chicken. So I would like to see it like that, it's going to be our Harold's Chicken, like the coffee side.
And Andrew and Michelle, Sip and Savior is planning on opening another shop on 78th East 47th Street, and hopefully more to share the coffee community with more Chicago residents. From Bronzeville, Emma Evans, Northwestern News Report. Back to you.
Thanks, Emma.
Well, deep dish pizza is a classic part of the Chicago food scene, and NNN's Mano Blackman made her way to Irving Park to get a taste of the newest spot to serve up the iconic favorite.
Chicago House of Za opened its doors to the public this past September. Owners Jamie and Danny Galino proudly make every pizza by hand and to order, advising customers to order 45 to 60 minutes ahead of time.
By the sheer number of restaurants, you can tell Chicagoans love their pizza. So what makes this outpost different from the rest?
Well, everybody loves the stuffed pizza.
Would you look at that? With its layers of crust, cheese, toppings, more crust, and top off of sauce, the 2 to 6 pound stuffed pizza is a strong competitor of the classic deep dish. But there's a twist. The menu at the Chicago House of Za is 100% vegan.
The crust is pretty standard crust. It's just like yeast and flour, water, oil. Sauce is made from the tomatoes, and then all of our cheese is made with cashews. I make all of our seitan meats and our cheese with cashew nuts.
The carry-out counter is the first of its kind in Chicago, offering by the slice or whole pies as well as calzones and other treats.
People who are afraid to eat vegan come in and see that we're not just eating grass. We offer free samples of cheese and stuff to come in for like naysayers and doubters and stuff, and that seems to be kind of working out.
And to top it off, the eatery is entirely family-owned and run.
When you have children growing up, pizza is a must. So we kind of have to start from scratch and learn how to make pizza, and then one day we're just like, you know what, this is fun, let's do this for a living. Let's bring our pizza to the vegan world, and that's what we're doing.
In the coming months, the Galinos aim to add new menu items to attract vegans and non-vegans alike to their growing business. Mano Blackman, Northwestern News Report.
If you head to Irving Park to try it out, they recommend enjoying a slice of their pineapple pizza for a refreshing bite in the summer heat. Make sure to tweet at us at @NNN_news and tell us what you think. Michelle, pineapple does not belong on pizza.
Okay, Andrew. And we wanted to know about some of your favorite Chicago restaurants and pizza.
So we asked you in this Chicago Show edition of Rock Talk, Riverwalk Talk.
Hi everyone, I'm Meredith Sonnefeld and I'm here at Chicago's Riverwalk for NNN's first ever Riverwalk Talk. Now today I'll be asking Chicagoans what they think about their favorite Chicago foods, so let's go. What is your favorite restaurant in Chicago, if you have one?
Gibson's.
Gibson's Steakhouse?
Chicago.
Sapori on Hellstead.
What kind of food do they have there?
Italian. It's it's chef owned for 15 years. They make everything from scratch. The place is great.
Cafe Baba Riba.
What's your favorite Chicago restaurant?
For me, by far, is Lumalnati's.
Huge Chicago pizza fans.
Okay, deep dish or thin crust?
Depending on the mood, usually deep dish.
I'm thick all the way, 100%.
Always thick.
Yes.
You got to do deep dish.
Okay.
Uno's, since I was a kid, we've all gone there.
Do you like pizza?
Yes, I do.
What kind of toppings do you like on your pizza?
I like it plain. I just like some cheese.
Definitely cheese though, right?
I like cheese, pepperoni, and sausage.
Deep dish. You can just smash right into it.
All this pizza talk has made me hungry, and although vegan pizza might be healthier, Lumalnati's will always be my favorite.
Mine too, Meredith. If you have an idea for a future Riverwalk Talk topic, tweet at us at @NNN_news.
Up next, we dig up some of the Field Museum's newest exhibits.
And next in Money Minute, we'll explain why more banks than ever are closing their local branches and how one Chicago-based bank is accelerating that national trend. Cincinnati-based Fifth Third Bank announced its plans last week to acquire Chicago-based MB Financial Bank. As part of the $4.7 billion merger, the two banks are expected to close 20% of their combined locations. That's 50 local branches. Fifth Third and MB are calling the merger a cost-saving move aimed at eliminating branch overlap. But it's actually more than that. It's part of a nationwide trend in which banks are closing local branches as customers shift to online banking. There has been an 8% decline in the number of U.S. branch banks since 2009. That has largely been caused by the growth of digital banking and the widespread availability of apps. Nearly 2/3 of Americans use at least one banking app on a regular basis. Most people say the app is just easier. They don't have to wait for the bank to open or wait in line once they actually get to the bank. 70% of app users say they check their accounts at least once a week. 16% say they check their accounts each and every day. But continuing on our current trajectory, we expect to see a 20% reduction in branch locations over the next 5 years. Fifth Third and MB are not the only two banks in the area accelerating this trend. Last Monday, Itasca, Illinois-based First Midwest Bank announced its plans to close 19 banks by the end of the year. That's in response to a greater number of clients using mobile banking apps. But not so fast. While mobile banking is convenient, we still have 80% of millennials who say they still want the option of visiting a physical branch. And experts say physical branches are still necessary for certain tasks like opening up new accounts. With Money Minute, I'm Matt Dunn.
Thanks, Matt. The world-famous Sue the T-Rex is currently not on display at the Field Museum, but there's a reason. NNN's Hyo-Jung Kim met with museum officials to learn about a new dinosaur roaring into the museum.
While Sue rests behind glass walls, a recently arrived Argentinian dinosaur is enjoying some newfound attention. His name is Maximo, which means maximum in Spanish, and he's the star of the first of 3 new dinosaur exhibitions coming to the Field Museum.
They discovered the titanosaur, the biggest titanosaur and the biggest dinosaur in the world until today.
Maximo is being installed in a way that allows people to walk around and below, and the soon-to-come Antarctic Dinosaurs exhibition has been allotted separate space in the museum.
We are opening Antarctic Dinosaurs. This is a 7,500 square foot exhibit. It'll have real fossils, it'll have skeletons, it'll have reconstructed animals in their environment, and it'll also take the visitor into Antarctica, so you get sort of hands-on experience with survival gear, with excavation there.
Along with the 2 entirely new exhibitions, The museum is also redesigning its T-Rex exhibit, which will open in March 2019.
We were actually able to correct some of the inaccuracies in the original mount, to actually take it out there and put the skeleton together in a new, more accurate and I think more dramatic sort of pose and fashion.
And that's what science is all about: finding, fixing, and figuring out new ways to feature these paleo pals. Hyojung Kim, Northwestern News Network.
Fully constructed Maximo the Titanosaur will welcome visitors at the entrance starting in June.
And coming up, we look back at a beautiful night of pageantry, passion, and empowerment. Women from all over the state competed to become Miss Illinois 2018 this weekend. NNN's Xian Shin was there for a night of celebrating beautiful and powerful women.
The Miss Illinois United States 2018 pageant was held Sunday at the Chicago High School of Arts. The delegates participated in 3 different areas of competition, including swimsuit, evening gown, and onstage questions. The judges thoughtfully considered each area to determine the new queen. At the end of the night, Tamika Van Tifflin was crowned Miss Illinois 2018.
I'm super excited and so blessed right now. Like, God has got me, and I don't even know. I can't even speak because I'm so excited.
As Miss Illinois 2017, Rainey Lasley emphasized that there is more to the pageant than just crowns and sashes.
So it really encourages people to not only be, beautiful, but beauty with a purpose. Get out there and use your title, use your position, use any talents you have to just impact your community.
This year's Miss Illinois is using her platform to share her story of growing up in an abusive adoptive family.
I was really down on myself. Confidence wasn't even in my vocabulary. I felt worthless. I felt like non-existent.
With her new position, Van Tifflin hopes to help and inspire those who have gone through similar situations.
And I just want them to know that they are confident, they are worth something, and just be yourself, live life with intention.
Brittany Middlebrooks, the director of the pageant, values how this event plays into the broader context of the female empowerment movement.
I think we need to celebrate womanhood. I think we need to stand together in movements right now that are very prevalent, like Me Too, and there are other movements as well. And to have a platform to get women to come together, to be positive, empower each other, we need that. Girl power, right?
That's a sentiment these women will continue to embrace, even after leaving the stage. Xian Shin, Northwestern News Network.
The newly crowned Miss Illinois will be advancing to compete in the national pageant later this summer.
Good luck to her. Well, that's all for tonight's special edition of the Northwestern News Report. For all of us here at NNN, I'm Andrew Merica.
And I'm Michelle Beck. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here next fall.